What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good. Good start to the day. We'll wait just a minute for a little bit more people to come in, and then we'll get started. What up? What up? Good morning. All right, let's get the ball rolling. So, yesterday, yeah, this is TradingView. Yesterday, I seen a lot of people kind of struggle, and one thing I do want to mention is that on slower days, there's going to be slower days. There's going to be red days. There's cycles in the market. So if you cannot handle a slower day in the market, you will not be able to survive, because this game is about survival, right? It's not about making the most money today. It's not about making the most money tomorrow. It's about long term. It's about survival. So once you realize that the market is a little bit slower, or you're not performing well, or, maybe it's not the best for you, right? Let's just say someone else is doing good, but you're not doing good, right? It could affect you psychologically a lot, right? Exactly. Best to sit on your hands sometimes. Remember, cash is always a position as well, right? So when you're being patient and other people are chasing plays and you're on your hands, remember, that's a position. That's a good position. That's discipline. But anyway, let's get started with today's runners. SLNH being one of my top, just watches right now. Just kind of pulling it up. Just pulling up and getting my day started. I did see some good news here. Let me pull it up right here. All right, SLNH, we have some news right here. First thing I see, launches new AI cloud service, right? We know AI is on the come up. We know that's good, right? We know AI has been hot. Collaboration with leading high performance computing companies. So think about that. AI plus collaboration with leading high performance company. That's some freaking good news off the bat, right? That's amazing news. So we'll look for a trade setup here. Now, initially, I just kind of drew out this this zone right here. The reason why I drew this out is because I see sellers getting trapped right here. This is kind of engulfed this whole move, right? Bullish engulfing. We have sellers come here. All these sellers right here. But when we come right here, buyers say, hey, boom, this is where we're sitting at. Buyers expose themselves. Make sense? Buyers expose themselves, trap sellers. So now you see how we kind of broke below, grabbed liquidity, and started to reclaim this level. So this is something that I would watch. One thing that I do see is it looks a little bit thick right now, right? It looks a little bit thick. We came up here. We're starting to sell off above this zone. Because we grabbed stop losses from the bottom, shorts are doing the same thing. They're grabbing stop losses from the top, So this is going to be a chop trade right now, just based off of this drawdown right here. Just based off how aggressive these moves are, I find it pretty ugly, right? A knife right here, knife right here, knife right here, knife right here. It's not slow moves down, right? These are just aggressive knives. So that's not one that I'm really a fan of right now, just based off the current price action. Now let's go to the daily chart. Let's look for some high volume key levels. There's a lot going on in the daily right now, so what we'll do is we'll go to the weekly. Okay, and we'll kind of drop down to the daily soon. So right now we're sitting at 320, which is pre-market. We'll remove this line for now. And what we like to look for is high volume key levels, right? My mic is going in and out. Can you guys hear me clearly, or is it tripping? Okay, sounds good. think most people are saying clear, so we should be good. Okay, so right now we're here. We look for two things, right? We look for high volume candlesticks, right? Every single day we look for high volume candlesticks, and we look for supply and demand zones, okay? High volume candlesticks and supply and demand zone. What do you guys see here? First thing, high volume candlestick right here. One other thing that I see right here is a big supply zone. Big supply zone right here, right? When we came down to, when we were up here, this caused a move from 280 all the way to 164. Right, so we're going to mark that out now. We're going to mark that area out. Let's mark that out. The wick candle open. Okay. See why we marked that out? Big supply zone. So now we want to see something like this. Want to see something like we broke out, right? We already broke out of it. So now we're looking for a pullback into this level for price targets up to probably this high, which is 360. All right, that's just analysis based off that. Now let's look for the high volume candlesticks. Okay, let's see where this. Let's see where we're sitting off on the daily, on the 5 minutes. So based off the 5 minute and the supply zone, we have a lot of room to come down, right? What does that tell us? We have a lot of room to come down. We're at 318. We have not tapped 290 on the 5 minute. So I think overall, you guys see on the 1 minute, it came down here, grabbed liquidity, and made that move up. So I think in order for a move, we need to see either 295, which is sellers getting trapped off this candle, or just within this zone right here. So I based off the weekly, I don't think I want to trade it up here. All right, I don't think I want to trade it up here. Probably look for entries down here for a nice move up, for a good risk to reward trade. Now let's look at the weekly once again. Look at some. Okay, you guys see this 360. Let's see, did they grab liquidity over? Okay, they did grab liquidity over 360, right? That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted. They wanted to grab liquidity over 360, and that's what they got. So now next, okay, they got all the liquidity that they needed. Yeah, so I don't think that this, you guys can see all the stop losses hit up here. I don't think that it's going to make a pop here. I would like to see 295. That's the only probably way that I'm going to trade it. At least down to 3, not up here. Anyway, back to the weekly. Let's look for the high volume candlesticks. Okay, high volume. Where are we sitting at? What are we doing? So right here, obviously we have high volume candlestick. Now think about this. We talked about high volume candlestick, right? We talked about high volume candlestick. And this candle is pretty high volume, right? Compared to everything else. Not these right here, but compared to everything right here, this is pretty high volume. You see 375? 375. That's where we rejected, right? That's where we grab liquidity over. That's where exactly where we rejected. So these high volume candles are perfect. Now, what do we look for? One thing now that we're looking for, I'm doing the analysis live with you, right? So now another significant line is 313. Reason for that, right, is because we grab liquidity over this candle, over this high volume candle. So now if we're doing candle by candle analysis, if we grab liquidity up here, this is a potential scenario. That is a potential scenario. Grab liquidity below 317 now. Let's see what's going on the intraday. Okay. Grab liquidity below 317. That's what's going on right now. And kind of create an inverse head and shoulders back up to 360. So this is still possible, right? So now we're kind of getting more scenarios here. Kind of putting more scenarios on the chart. So we have a 295 scenario, which would be lovely, but we also have 317 line, which is like, hey, high volume candlestick, right? We're grabbing liquidity below it. We grab liquidity up here, now we're grabbing liquidity below it. So I think 317 line is still valid. Can't completely invalidate it now, right? So price targets would be up to 360, but I would just kind of have to wait it out. I'm not taking any trades right now. I'm waiting for open. I'm waiting for setups to play out and then see how these levels react. So these are not guaranteed levels. Right? These are levels with high probability setups, right? These are levels that will probably bounce from, but it's nothing is guaranteed. So that's why we're going to wait for price action to tell us what's going on. That's why we're going to use volume price analysis. I was going to look for the book, but make sure you guys have read that book. Anyway, I hope you guys understand what we're doing on SLNH. Either 317 holds or we come down to 295 and look for an entry. All right, plan is pretty clear. I don't love this stock too much up here. Like I said, it's very thick. It's very choppy. There's a knife here. There's a knife here. There's a knife here. And once again, knifing right now. So not the cleanest price action. All right, let's move on. We have ISUN. All right, ISUN. Right off the bat. Right off the bat, I love this. I like the way it's setting up. I wouldn't say love, but I like the way that this is setting up. And let me tell you why. We have a high vol, like instantly what I see right now, things that I see off the bat. All right, things that I see off the bat. Right here. We broke high of day. Okay, we have a high here. So we have an uptrend here. All right, let me do like a little analysis that I see off the bat. Keep eyes on IVP. They just had a insane reverse split. It's 200K float now. It just came on the scanner. But yeah. And TIBC is on the run up as well. Anyway, you guys see this, right? We have a higher low pattern, right? A higher low pattern, meaning we are in an uptrend. Okay. Higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Once we break this trend and fail to make a higher high, we are now in a downtrend, okay? So we are now in a downtrend. Okay, does this make sense? Higher high, higher high. We fail to make a higher high, then boom. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, until we stop making a lower low, right? Until this candle does not make a lower low again. Now we have flipped trend once again. That should be pretty clear, right? Does that make sense? If those people that don't understand market structure, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. We failed to make we made a higher low. We failed to make a higher high. So now trend flipped. Now we have lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Until we fail to make a lower low, we have now flipped into an uptrend, right? So we use this low. Now we'll just there you go. All right, now we have the uptrend. Higher high, or bottom, higher low, and then flip trend once again. Right? So flip trend once again. After we break these highs, we grab liquidity. Remember the first thing that I said kind of catches my eye? First thing that catches my eye is that we broke above and we grab liquidity, okay? We grab liquidity above this level, and now we're moving down. So first, now we look at, okay, this right here. We have a high. We have a lower high now because we failed to make a higher high, so the uptrend is done. So lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low once again. So what we want to see is either we try to kind of base here. So I would say that, you know, this area will probably start to base here soon. Right about here. The reason being is because it's off of this previous high. So this whole area is looking to flip into support, right? So this is kind of bigger picture analysis that we just did on the 1 minute chart. You guys see what's going on right now? Does all this make sense? Let me know in chat. Let me know on YouTube. Let me know on Discord. You guys are understanding kind of the analysis that I'm doing here? Does this make sense? Is this clear? Because I know a lot of people don't really understand the fundamentals, so this should be kind of nice for a lot of people. Going very basic. All right. Okay, sound good. So now we're gonna look for something to kind of show us strength to clear an uptrend, right? One thing that we talk about, highs over, like, okay, let's talk about this. We see a high here, right? We see a high. Let's just say, doesn't matter if it's on the daily, doesn't matter if it's on the weekly, doesn't matter if it's on any time frame, anytime there's a high, there is liquidity over that high. Now, what is liquidity? Liquidity is resting orders over that high, okay? So you guys see every single liquidity resting order over here got eaten, right? Everyone got trapped. Breakout traders got trapped. Shorts got trapped. Everyone got trapped, and then all the way moved to the downside. Now, same thing on REBN, right? What do we? No, we didn't go over REBN. We went over SLNH, right? We saw on the weekly. Remember, I said doesn't matter if there's highs over the weekly, the daily, whatever. There's a high here with high volume on the wick. We broke over it and we grabbed stop losses. Same situation that we have on the current stock that we were looking at, ISUN. It's just on the weekly time frame, right? Most people are not looking at it. But now you guys can see that it's on the weekly time frame. You guys can see that it's on the weekly time frame, right? So now it makes a little bit more sense. Like, okay, now we grab stop losses up here. So now next time it comes up here, they're probably going to grab stop losses up here again. So we're looking for that same thing, 295, grab stop losses once again, and then make that move up, okay? So I wanted to compare it to SLNH so you guys kind of get an understanding about liquidities and highs. All right, so this chart breakdown should make a lot of sense. All right, so now something what we look for. Let's go to the daily chart now. We've done enough intraday analysis. So ISUN, there's a lot going on the daily here. There's a lot going on. So we're going to go to the weekly now. We'll go to the weekly and then kind of go down. We'll get rid of all these lines. I hope you guys can take a screenshot, brother. All right. So now we're currently at 19.5 on ISUN. High volume candlestick right here. You guys see this is the highest volume that we've ever had. All right. Insane runner. Insane runner on this day. So we completely soaked up. Now what we're looking for is this high volume candlestick. So obviously we're going to do some analysis off of this level. We're going to look for a zone off of this right here. The reason for that is because we have a wick. Okay. We have a wick and then a candle close. So that right there is a zone. And then this wick is just massive. So, I mean, I would look for another high volume candle. So another high volume candle is right here, right? So we can mark that out as support. We can mark this candle closeout as a line, and we can mark this out as a resistance. Okay, resistance. Oh, wrong one. Resistance. Buy support. All right, that's kind of what we're looking for. This is what looks good. So high volume candlestick right here. We see a soak right here. 1509 would obviously be lovely, but right now we're looking off of this high volume zone, okay? So let's go back to the 5 minutes, see how we're looking like. And coincidentally, we're touching that exact zone right now. And coincidentally, I did say, watch for this support, watch for this resistance to turn into support. So I didn't do analysis before. This is right in front of you guys that you see. This is the exact zone that's bouncing right now. So is that a coincidence? No. So every single thing so the blue line that we had here, you guys see it clearly held up. So this isn't hindsight, right? This isn't hindsight because it's all happening in front of you. You guys see that this blue line held here. This blue line grabbed stop losses below in this zone, ended up holding here and then making that move up to the red line. So where was the exact rejection on the red line? Exactly where we have high volume rejection, right? That's exactly where we have high volume rejection. That's where we drew it out, right? Bottom of this high volume candle, middle of this high volume candle, and high of this volume candle. That makes sense? So now the blue line comes again. So now what I would like to see is, because they grab stop losses over here, something like this. One more double bottom, okay? Grab stop losses below the blue line again. Maybe do it again, and then make that move up. Or simply just crack and snap like that. That's what I would look for on this trade. That makes sense? Hope that makes sense. While you guys are here, make sure you guys drop a like on the stream real quick. We have quite a few people. Make sure you guys drop a like. If you guys are learning something on the stream, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys subscribe as well. All right. Give y'all a few seconds to do that. Now ISUN. Okay, we're done with that. I hope that makes pretty clear sense. TIBC. Let's go over that. This thing has been running, right? We mentioned the news as soon as it came out. All right? There's a lot of news going on right now. WYY just popped as well. WYY just had news. Check that out. Hold up. Daily has a lot going on there. That's some good news. Why no volume? I don't know. They're just not catching. And that's what I teach. You ask why no volume, we'll go over that on the premium voice. All right, we'll go over exactly why. Remember we talk about that strategy? Don't want anyone to say it, but that strategy that we talk about. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's go over TIBC. There's a lot of people who are asking about TIBC. Yeah, exactly, Roy. Exactly, Roy. We'll see how it sets up, but we'll look for an opportunity there. All right, so TIBC, we have news here. What's the news? Let's check it out. Check out the news here. There you go. Here's the news. TIBC Health announced successful completion of non-invasive vagus nerve stimulation study. Demonstrates clinically effective. Okay, that's a lot going on there. Apparently, you know, it looks like some good news because it's catching. Right, so let's kind of check that out. Positives, negatives, successful completion of pilot. You guys can read it with me. Okay, this is good. All right, so overall pretty decent, right? Overall pretty decent. Now here's the news: 1.4 million float, very tiny. We know TIBC. Now history. Let's talk about history of TIBC. Not one that I love to trade. Not one that I love to trade because back in the day I traded it. It was very thick. So, but I mean, if there's news, all right, then we'll kind of have to trade it, right? If there's a setup. So what we'll do is off the bat, what I see right now is that there's a high here. All right, there's a high here. They grab liquidity off of this high. They grab stop losses. Now what I would look to see is stop losses below this level. All right, stop losses below this level. Something like that, because the high volume candle, right? We're just going based off intraday. We'll do a larger analysis as well, but I hope that makes sense, right? We have this candle. We grab stop losses over that candle. So now simply we want to see high volume candle, grab stop losses below this level, and then make that move to the upside. Does that make sense? That should be pretty clear. What's thick on a stock? How many people don't understand what a thick versus a thin stock is? Let me know on the YouTube chat. What do you guys understand what a thick versus thin stock is? All right, so you guys don't understand what a thick stock is. A thick stock basically means, we just had one of my buddies, JD, say that TIBC is a known fader, right? Every single time that it runs, it does fade. 7 out of 7 red closes on all gaps. 78% of the time it closes. Average close red is 100% time. 100% of the time. So TIBC is a known fader, right? It's a known dumper. So every time it pops, it does go to the downside. All right, so that's something to be cautious about on TIBC. If every time it fails, probably historically, this time it's gonna fail, right? Now what is a thick stock versus a thin stock? A thick stock, for example, is Tesla. There's a lot of shares available to the public. You need a lot of movement. You need a lot of shares. You need a lot of volume to make a small move. For example, it's for example, SBFM or something like just a small float ticker, right? Like Pixie. When we trade Pixie, we know that it trades very thin, as in the float is very small. If you buy 100 shares, it goes explosive. If you buy 1,000 shares, it freaking rockets. You know, if there's no volume, the spread is usually very big and it moves very easily. That's what I mean by thin. It moves like paper. It moves like water. For TIBC, I'm not looking at the tape right now, but for example, a thick stock, not too long ago in pre-market we saw FRGT. That's what it was. It was a 2 million or 3 million float, but on the bid there's 50K, there's 70K on the bid. That doesn't make sense, right? It's a thick stock. It doesn't make sense. So that's what I mean by thick. And there we go. Known fader, and TIBC is dumping. So everyone in chat who's talking about TIBC, I know it's running, but I could care less because I have my strategy. If it's going to provide an opportunity, it's 8:15 right now. there's so many people chasing TIBC. Like, just chill. There's a lot of traders that just need to chill, right? Just like you see me, I don't care about chasing these plays. I wait for these trades to come to me. Right? Hence, I'm on live right now. You guys are not seeing me rush into trades. I'm just kind of looking at stocks. That's how I stay profitable. I don't let them, affect me too much. But a lot of traders just kind of need to chill out and have a lot more patience. Anyway, right now, not really too fond of TIBC. ENVB, okay. First thing that I see off the bat, thick. What do we mean by thick again? What do we mean by thick again? ENVB, what's the float? Let me see. I think it's a low float. Just based off previously trading, I think it's a micro, like very low float. $7 million shares, pretty low. Now on the 5 minute on Weibo, it looks pretty good on the 5 minute. 5 minute looks pretty decent. It doesn't look as thick. But if you look on the 1 minute, what is that? Straight barcoding, right? It looks like SNDL, like the two, it looks like SNDL back in the day. Or just barcoding, right? So we want to look for a nice setup here. Let's see what we would look for on let's go to the daily chart. Wait, 5 minute. Just based off intraday levels, I would look for right here. Right, I would look for this zone to hold. Based off zone wise, it's looking pretty good. We have stop loss hunt below this level, kind of trying to hold. You guys can clearly see the volume is. Why did I draw this zone? Well, there's a wick and there's volume right here. There's a highest volume, right? This is where the buying pressure is sitting at. So buyers are trapped right now. Buyers are trapped. You guys see there's a lot of buying pressure. Obvious sellers right here, right? So buyers are kind of trapped right now. What I would look for on ENVB is something like this. Something like that to form, like a little uptrend, and then look for this zone to hold. I would wait for a pop and then a dip. All right, either this scenario, or I would wait for something like this. Okay, because there's a lot of buyers here, but they're trapped right now because sellers are in control. Now sellers are starting to get trapped based off this volume. Right, sellers are starting to get trapped. So we'll see what happens. But let's go to the daily chart. All right. Nothing crazy on the volume side except the 120 level that we have, resistance up here, right? So this would be old resistance, which we'll mark out as red. Support is down here. Support, I guess maybe this 111, but I'm not a huge fan of this daily. Not a huge fan of this. There's the red. You guys see that's exactly what we're rejecting on the high volume weekly. All right, let's see the day. Let's go back to the daily again. I hope that's pretty clear. I hope that's really clear, actually. This is where the high volume candlestick is, right? This is, oh, can't see it because of that. Okay, clearly high volume candlestick right here, right? Compared to all the others, that one's explosive, but this is the highest volume candlestick after this one. Okay, when I go zoom in like this. And that's exactly what we're rejected from, right? The red zone. The red zone is exactly what we're rejected. They grabbed liquidity over it, tapped it once, tapped it twice. Most people are trying to chase up here when they don't do analysis on the larger time frame. That's why they get trapped. That's why they get trapped, right? So there's the move down. I don't see any big volume against like right here, I would say. Not a huge fan of this setup. Not a huge fan of this setup. Let's see. What about 229 on high volume ENVB? Yeah, I mean, like that's not in our price range, right? So we're not going to trade that because that's not in our price range. So if it's in our price range, like for example, if ENVB is up here on 159, you know, if it's at 159, I'll draw a zone out here and I'll look for something like a dip into it. But because we're not in this zone, it would be used as resistance. But first, we need to look for high volume levels within our area, right? Because then I could just have price targets up to like 250, which is on every stock, which is not realistic. Right? I think I like REBN. I like REBN, right? The reason for that is because we have high volume candle right here, right? Simply off the intraday high volume candle right here. Okay? High volume candle. We got to soak below that high volume candle, right? Soak below this high volume candle, grab stop losses like we always do to the upside. We always grab stop losses to the upside. Now what happened to the downside? So what's going to happen now? Probably a move to 330. Probably going to grab stop losses above this area. So here's what I would look for. Kind of like a dip back into this level or this area for a move back up here. That's ideally what I would look for, okay? Top watch REBN. So if you stuck around for 30 minutes, you got the top watch. That's what we're looking at. REBN, let's go to the weekly. All right, where is the resistance at? Where's the supply zone at? High volume candlesticks. High volume candlestick, 150, not in our price range. Decently high volume, I guess right here. Right, we'll hold this level, decently high volume on the daily. Like that, because of that zone, right, because of that volume. Selling pressure up here. So we have room up to 445 on the daily pretty easily, right? So once we get 330, I think we have room up to like 410, 440s. Pretty cleanly. All right. That's why I think REBN is a good setup. So from the daily, so you guys can see from the daily and intraday, we're holding up pretty well. So I'll remove the intraday level and keep the daily one. You guys can see on the daily we have that. Sorry, on the weekly, we have that high volume candlestick that we're using, right? High volume candlestick. Support right here on the wick. So we go back to the 1 minute. We see what we're looking at. That's basically what happened. They grab liquidity below it, grab liquidity below it. Now I'm looking for a retest back into this zone on this stock for a move back up to like right here. All right, that's what I'm looking at. REBN top watch. All right. You guys understood? Let me know. All the people here, you guys are understanding what's going on? Is this helpful? Is this stream helpful? Does this help you guys not only understanding, but actually when you're trading? Actually, when you're trading, does this analysis help you guys? You know, you kind of remember what Minnie said or what I said, or kind of, hey, I probably shouldn't take this stuff because it's too high. I don't want to chase this breakout, right? So I'm trying to work on not only analysis, but psychology as well. I want you guys to understand the charts and understand trading like a professional. Understand trading like a professional, okay? That's what I want you guys to do. All right. All right, so market opens in 5 minutes. All the people here, make sure you guys subscribe. Drop a like on this stream right now, right? Make sure you guys subscribe. Drop a like on the stream. VPA book is indeed gold, my friend. Check that, make sure you guys subscribe. I do have a new YouTube video that I dropped 2 days ago. So I want you guys to go check that out. It's pretty helpful. It's my 5-minute strategy on TCBP. If you guys join the stream, then yeah, you probably already saw it. But check that video out if you guys want to really understand more about volume analysis, right? Other than that, I'm about to go on live trading with my team. There's 5 minutes left. I'm about to start conducting that. Switching everyone over from here to the Discord. We're going to join live trading right now. So if you guys want to trade live with me for free, mmlinks.co/7days. Check it out right now. Right? Come trade with me for 7 days for free. You guys will love it. If not, don't stay. And other than that, if you want to trade with me, I'll post a link on Twitter and Discord as well. Subscribe. I'll see you guys on Friday. All right? Trade safe. Peace.